Does it mean then, and this maybe speaks to your second point about brands building shipping costs into cost of goods, does it mean then that I'm a British customer, I go onto a Rogue Fitness website or the equivalent, what's another website in the States that I use quite a bit, Woodpeckers, which is a woodworking brand, right? So I go onto the Woodpecker website. There are certain things that they will sell and there's certain things that they won't sell. I'm guessing it's due to freight because one, they can ship with FedEx and the other one they can't. Does it mean that the costs, though, are going to start to become quite prohibitive? Because I'm thinking maybe with a hat of 15 years ago, Robert, where it was just like crazy money to ship from the States to the UK. When I lived in the States, it was crazy money to ship from the US to the UK. I don't know if things have got any better. How do you deal with the shipping costs of this activity?
Now that part has gotten better. Granted, assuming you're working with an e-commerce logistics company that specializes in e-commerce brands, right? Mm-hmm. So I think one key differentiation is to keep in mind is freight versus parcel. Mm-hmm. So parcel we're all used to Amazon or UPS drivers showing up with small boxes. That's very efficient, very mature, very consumer-centric service/product. Yeah. Freight has always been a commercial product. It's always been businesses buying large items from businesses, yeah. Right? So it's most freight companies don't actually have even customer service personnel, so that they're not geared towards dealing with consumers. So the service expectation and the service level is kind of very odd. But right. It's definitely changing as we get into more and more, as species, I guess. Mm-hmm. We're getting more and more into buying stuff online, even larger stuff. Right? Like think of mattresses. It used to be bulky deliveries of these large pieces that were pretty unwieldy, requires 2 men to deliver. Now most mattresses shipped basically vacuum rolled up, right? And they're shipped with UPS. Yeah. So we've graduated to buying mattresses online. The design of the product is evolving to support digital sort of purchasing and e-commerce deliveries and things like that. So as we're moving more and more into that space, even heavier stuff is becoming more and more common to buy online, right? 20, 30 years ago, you wouldn't really buy furniture online. Now it's basically all you do, right? Common. So, so we as an industry, like the logistics industry, is definitely evolving with e-commerce brands like Temu and Shein and Amazon and all of these guys. They've really jump-started the efficiency game when it comes to consolidations. Making basically building up containers. Or airline containers, let's just say, or ocean containers of consolidated e-commerce goods, which basically reduces the cost. Is you're bringing the same kind of efficiency that retailers use to import their inventory. Mm-hmm. You're doing that for e-commerce brands. So think of, instead of a container that has, let's say, 10,000 t-shirts going to, say, Walmart or Target, you have a container with 10,000 t-shirts that are individually labeled to go to the final buyer. Right. So you're still consolidating a container. You're still making use of that space and that wholesale level of shipping, if you will. Right now, you could also, I think, successfully argue that shipping directly. Again, I'm going to jump back to bulky items here. Shipping bulky items directly from the country of origin to the consumer in the country where you're selling individually saves a lot of logistics cost compared to shipping to a distributor who then has to basically inventory the stuff, at a margin, right? Cover their operations. There's like a whole world of logistics cost there where, shipping an individual item, you're basically bypassing all of that. You're cutting all of that out. So if done efficiently, it could potentially be a game changer, right? And think of all the de minimis rules, which admittedly are under attack and getting cut
a little
in the
bit
countries.
under flux, yeah.
But that's huge, because then for a lot of products you're also avoiding duties, right? So in the US it's been a game changer, obviously. You know, not a great one for the consumer, but under $800 basically you don't pay duty, which means, traditionally if you bought, let's say, a chair that costs $1,000, right? A lot of it is logistics cost, a lot of it is duties, warehousing, and all of that. Whereas if you ship it from the origin under the minimis rules, you only declare essentially the cost of the product and not any of the logistics. So that allows you to bring the declared value under $800, therefore avoid duties. Like that whole thing just makes it a lot more cheaper.
Yeah.
It also throws out a lot of regulation and a lot of consumer safety stuff. So it's not necessarily a great thing, but at least cost-wise, it's a game changer.
Yeah, makes it easier.